So I want to explain, this is literally hell, and I'm going to be dropping some really interesting stuff. So if you want to hear that, what I have to say about hell, I would say watch the whole thing. So this is Marilyn Manson's song, Long Hard Road Out of Hell. Look, it's a very childish thing to spend years of your life looking through movies, looking through music for hidden messages, but this is stuff that has come to me and actually has a meaning. So this song is called The Long Hard Road Out of Hell. And then this song is called The Dope Show, because it's a divine comedy, a circus act, circle us. So there's another song by Marilyn Manson called Mob Scene, because the world is obscene. They like the obscene side of hell. There's another song by Marilyn Manson called Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, DMT. Sweet dreams are made out of DMT. So let me explain something again. I think I may have shared this story on the channel, maybe I haven't. I once got my hands onto some DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and I smoked it for at least a week, and I'd be smoking DMT at least 50 times, 30 to 50 times whenever I smoked it. And there was this one time, it was 3 in the morning, there was a full moon, and I decided, it was probably like the 10th time smoking DMT that day. Remember, it's 3 in the morning. I was watching something on the television. I don't like television, but you know, at this time I was watching a show on Netflix because I thought it meant something, and it did. Regardless of that, that's rather immature. I smoke the DMT. I go outside. The moment I go outside, someone tells me, they call me my nickname, and they tell me to run. I'm not going to tell you what my nickname is. So they tell me to run, and I'm just sitting there kind of like perplexed because I think that it might not be a real event that's occurring. And then, out of the blue, a guy in a white SUV comes down my street, blaring his horn 100 times. And I'm standing in front of the full moon, and there's another car, a blue Civic, that pulls up to my left, and I, at this point, am confused by why, after smoking DMT, a guy has driven down my street honking 100 times. But now I know he was telling me I'm in hell. Anyway, what do I have to say? I started smoking a cigarette on the trunk of my car. So I sat on the trunk of my car. I rested my back on the trunk of my car, and I looked to my left, and I noticed there's this person talking on like a walkie-talkie or a phone, and they're looking at me to my left, and I'm just staring at them with my cigarette in hand because this is nothing like I've experienced before. And then they drove off. So that's one of the experiences that I've had. And one of the things I wanted to get into with that is some of the in-jokes, I guess. There's a lot of in-jokes for the defenders of hell. Basically, long-term contact with these beings, whether you're getting in contact with them or they're getting in contact with you, as in my case, gives you cancer. It's an inside joke. They give you cancer because they're death, basically. So in this music video, and pretty much all of these, I don't want to call them all sellouts, they're following the cube, alright? Let me show you the cube. The cube is the Saturn Fractal computer. The Saturn Fractal computer is what runs and generates this reality. Why am I calling it a fractal computer? Because it's rendering us all as individual fractals in its server, basically. So let me explain something. Saturn cube. So Saturn cube. This is the Saturn cube, which is the supercomputer. I swear to God if it's not recording. Okay. This is the supercomputer. This is the fractal supercomputer that is keeping us all chained to the link as ions in Saturn's ring. So we are all chemical bonds, ions, running in the ring of Saturn. And what is keeping us there? It's the cube. It's running an algorithm through your mind. The mind is owned. It's not owned by the mind, is created from the cube. It's Lucifer's creation. Lucifer created the mind. It's for rendering this reality, which is the 3D matrix, the death matrix. So, the Saturn cube is what is dictating everything in this reality. Now, what was my point with that? Everything your mind interacts with, the Saturn cube collects as a point of data. Anything that you see, anything that you interact with, anything that becomes a habit of yours. The Saturn cube essentially documents that, assimilates that information, and uses it against you, basically. Like, you know how ad agencies will purchase in mass large amounts of people's sold off data so they can, better have an idea of what ads to recommend? That's at least what they used to do. Kind of similar to this. So, it says here in the Bible, "And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell." So, this is the top layer of hell, and there are a lot of these beings which were keeping me in the dark about this. Most of them doing it for my own good. But at the same time, you get it. So this is the Black Cube Wikipedia page. Notice how Black Cube is an intelligence agency, a private intelligence agency. Tel Aviv, Israel, Spain, the UK, Israel, Spain, and the UK. Black Cube, creative intelligence. Blackballing. So Google knows. Blackballing is related to the Black Cube. It's a rejection. And this is a hilarious dualistic joke. It's another one of the in-jokes. Do you get it? It's hard to explain. I immediately see it though. So, it's 4 in the morning. I'm really tired. Oh, I'm not tired. I just feel really weak right now. Because I've been trying to get this all set up. I've been putting a lot of energy into trying to figure this out. I'm trying to deliver it in a way that is not boring, that isn't incoherent. And that becomes difficult. So I'm going to have to cut this part of the video off until I remember. Alright, I need to explain something that's very important. It's the reason they cover up one eye. Okay? One eye Illuminati. This is also the reason for the one eye headlights, or the one headlight cars. And there's a song called One Headlight. They know what it's about. I'm going to explain this. Just give me a second. So this is I get stalked by people with one headlight. This is part of the reason why they do it. God damn it. So you know how you see all these people throwing up the one eye? Do you want to know what this actually means? So let me explain. Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff. Who is Hiram Abiff? So Hiram Abiff is a code word meaning to biff, to take out one side of the equation. Do you see? So when they're covering up one eye, they're showing you they're covering up one side of the equation, which is the opposite of what 2020, God damn it, 2020 vision is. So 2020 vision is the ability to see things full without one side of the equation being biffed, taken out. So, do you notice how Apple added the heart emoji in 2020? That's because this is a machine. Let me explain something. They added the heart on fire emoji in 2020 because that's when, it's the symbolic indicator that the human race is going to be getting 2020 vision, which is this. This is 2020 vision right here. Double crossed. XX. Me. You. Everyone else. Why can't I find this isn't correct. 20. This is the second sight. This is the mind. You notice how when you close your eyes or you open your eyes, you see a snake biting its own tail. That's because the mind is the snake biting its own tail, and the mind is Lucifer. Notice how he's like subtly telling me to shush through time. I just want... Isn't this so obvious? Like, I don't even know. Anyway, so Hirama Biff means to take out one side of the equation. So, to cut off one piece of the tail. Do you see? So, eyes. So you notice how there's two eyes, and it looks exactly like a snake biting its own tail when you close your eyes and you can see a snake biting its own tail. When I first started waking up, this is really hard to see now, but if I focus in, I can see it. It's like a snake biting its own tail. And that's supposed to be me. So that means to chase tail is to chase memory, to chase thought. Thought is memory. Don't forget that. So that's what it means to chase your own tail. 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 You see? Chasing your own tail. The devil's tail. The tail devil is lived, past tense. Do you see? Devil backwards is lives because he's the one who lived. He's dead now. And there's a duality to it. He's the one that lived through it all. Do you see? And they're also calling you, since the mind is Lucifer's creation, they're calling everyone a devil. This is the reason for the coronavirus nonsense. It's not even nonsense. It's an occult hall of mirrors, basically. There's a reason that they disabled the dislike ratio on YouTube. Do you remember when this all started and all the coronavirus videos on YouTube were dislike bombed into hell? Yeah, they disabled it, and they were disingenuous about why they were doing it, which I found to be funny. So I've already explained what this means. This is satanic cattle slavery, and they are using both sides, both the anti-maskers and the maskers, to create a false artificial duality so that people will fight. And this is a test, this is a preview to see how well people's minds are molded and controlled. For what? The beast system. The mark of the beast. So this is literally a machine. And let me explain something here. All points in time occur simultaneously. Do you see what I'm saying when I say that? So all points in time of the zodiac occur simultaneously at once. This is a machine. Your soul can be placed anywhere in these, in the zodiac, and that's it. So this is the last part of the time zodiac, the last part of the play. Notice how it says wake up. It's telling me to wake up. This is the last part of the play. Everything gets put together here. Do you see? And when everything gets put together, that's when they reintroduce, or they are reintroducing it. You have to see, it's a machine. It's a program within a machine. It's the beast system. They want to make you take the mark of the beast. That's what it is. So that when you get to this particular time, which is in code called Y2K, this is what they call it Y2K. There's a reason that they do all this stuff. There's an occult reason. And the reason often is as a preview for coming attractions, or almost as like a, how do you say, in Brave New World they had slogans that they would say to control people. This is basically what it is. I think they're having someone come outside my window. I hope that the camera is picking that up. Someone right now is outside the window and making noises. I honestly, I don't know what to say, but this is it's the beast system. This is literally there's a specific image which really shows it off. So you know how they have cattle brands. This is what it is. This This is what they're planning on doing, and I can't find the fucking image. Because they censor it. I wonder why they're censoring it. Basically, this right here. This is David D's artwork. If you want to find more art like this, just look up David D's. I don't know, but this is what they're planning on doing. And this is like a joke to it. It has done this before. The mind has done this before. This is the reason I can't find work is because they know exactly who I am, because I watch everything I fucking do. Wow. So, you want to know the reason you see one headlight cars? Regardless of whether or not they know this, it means to take out one side of the equation, to cover one eye, which means to turn a blind eye, basically. It means other things, but that's mostly what it means. But in the case of this Bible verse here, which I read, it's a little bit different. See, there's no real way of describing it. It's been put to me. I don't actually know this, and whenever I don't actually know something, I will disclose it to you. I don't actually know how this works, but basically if you cover up one eye and you leave it there for a long time, you might be able to see beings on that side of the mind, the right hemisphere of the mind. That's what this is all ultimately about. So we'll look this up again. This is the second sight. The mind. So what is it? So you have two sides of the equation, you see. Right hemisphere of the brain. This is the right hemisphere, but it appears to you as your left. And this is the left hemisphere, and vice versa. So one of these is in resemblance of the moon. The other is in resemblance of the sun. To take out one side of the equation would be to take out either the sun or the moon. Past, future, and then you have the middle, which is the pineal gland, which is Golgotha. Golgotha is the place of the skull, the mind. There's a specific picture I'm looking for. So, reason I don't like doing this way. This would be the reason. And I don't like the NIV, and I'm not particularly fond of any other translations. King James works. And they came to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of the skull. They gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall, and he had tasted of it. He would not drink. They crucified him and parted his garments, and that's, this is the part I want to focus on. I don't like this. This is Jesus, Yeshua, King of the Jews. The King of the Juice. Get it? Because they're juicing us for our golden honey and our basically light plasma, blood plasma, in fact. So Golgotha is the mind, which is Lucifer's kingdom. This is what Lucifer's kingdom looks like. This is what it looks like. It looks like a city, which looks like what? A circuit board. Do you get it? So we are all being used as nodes on this circuit board. All of us. That's why they say the mind, the realm of the mind, mining, vein, mind. So, because this is a machine and it views every last one of us as nodes, numbers, some people have specific functions that they're here to fulfill. Do you see? Mathematical functions. So it's almost like a failsafe is activated in the mind. Some people in the Gangstalking community even say like, oh, I got activated and I woke up because I got activated. I mean, in plain simple English, that's basically what it means. Coincidences are clues from the universe. And I'm also not implying that every one of these people are just evil. That's not how the sides of the mind work. There's a false light, and it's essentially a false dark. Both sides of the equation in this world are equally false, because they're a paradox. 0 equals 1. That's what the paradox of this reality is. Nothing becomes something, something becomes nothing. Do you see? That's what 0 equals 1 means. That's why Saturn in the Divine Comedy kills himself. That's not actually in the Divine Comedy, but I don't know if it's an occult secret, but it basically is. He kills himself because he can't have what he wants, so he destroys everything, and by destroying everything, he destroys himself. So if you notice, this is Saturn, is an old painting, and he's holding a sickle shaped like the moon, and he's wearing a white robe. So that is Saturn, at least a human depiction. So Hiram Biff, I'm going to show you something. I told you, listen, you have to listen to me on this one. They speak in code. When I tell you I've seen them talk in code, I'm not lying to you. Look. Matthew Barney, he's a Freemason, and he's an experimental art film contemporary artist. He's a director. He is the creator of a series called the Cremaster Cycle. So I'm going to show you something about the Cremaster Cycle. This is not very well known. This is, if you're a man who's into experimental art, maybe this would appeal to you. It does not appeal to me. This is a Freemasonic reenaction ritual of the story of Hiram Biff. This right here, if it will open, is Hiram Biff, which means to take out one side, one pillar. Notice how he has something stuffed in his mouth and it's all bloody. And he has, if you know Russia, the Caucasus, Dagestan, he has like a pseudo-Dagestani hat along with this. They're mocking, obviously. So the Cremaster Cycle is a series of movies which has to do with this reality. So Cremaster 1 I've never seen. I don't know what it's actually about. Cremaster 2 is about the hive. It's about the bees. How we're all being kept as bees in the beehive, you see. It's really, both movies, all the movies are disturbing. So if you want to check them out, check them out. But the one I'm going to focus on is Cremaster 3 because it's the most revealing. So this is the cover for Cremaster 3. It says, "The Order, the most important artist of this generation, of his generation." There's a specific frame in the movie that Google has censored, but I will bet you indeed that they have it available on this DuckDuckGo, and it might also be on Internet Archive. So if you have browsed 4chan, you might have seen this posted. I would say stay away from that website. 4chan has been infected with actual psycho cancer. So I would stay away from it, unless you know what you're doing and are willing to be infected with psycho cancer. Anyway, am I going to be able to find this screenshot or not? Here it is. This is it. Cremaster is the cycle, or is a spot underneath the man's penis, basically, and it's unavailable. Notice how it's so small and you can't open it at all. And it's just like a little fucking. They're hiding it. So if you can't see this, I'm gonna zoom in for you. So this is mocking the viewer. This is an extremely brazen mock. If your eyes are open and you see beyond the veil of the second sight, this is a Freemason telling you what happens if you're a cattle for too long. They take your thing away, you see, and they stick it up your ass. That's what's happening in this picture. They're telling you. And yeah, they are trying to scare you with that. So I just thought you should know, what Freemasons, do, and really take into account that Google has taken time to censor this image. If you watched this far, thank you. Do not join the Freemasons. Notice how this movie came out in the year of my birth. You see that's Pan, the goat guy. Notice how they say it's an art installation epic. It's part zombie movie, part gangster film, because they're calling you all zombies because they have you trapped in the mind as a lab rat. I'm going to show you something. Somebody, you know how they come to you with license plates with encoded messages? One of them had a license plate that said engrams on it. Now I'm going to tell you something. Negative memory engrams. An engram is like an encoding. Oh, here it is. This is basically about the formation of bad memories, and I have trauma, and these people, I'm not saying it's like a threat, they came to me with the license plate engrams, and I know that it has something to do with this. The hippocampus, the camp. So this entire reality is sign and symbol, and when you can learn to read that, you can go pretty far. So I think that's good for this one.